Chapter 76. The crowd gaped as Fletcher hung limply on the wall. They never imagined that the mighty Fletcher Lawson, who had just trounced Stephen Chapman, had been defeated with an effortless slap. What the fuck was going on? How could this be? Stephen's eyes were wide with disbelief that someone as powerful as Fletcher, the strongest fighter in Cole's Bridge, had been defeated with a single blow. Was this kid a monster? No way. Dustin actually won. Ruth couldn't believe it either. At first, she'd been so certain that Dustin would lose. Instead, he had won the match in a breeze. With just one slap, he sent Fletcher flying. His strength was unheard of. Fletcher lost. Edwin was shaken and astonished. He was very familiar with Fletcher's strength. Even in Swinton, there was hardly anyone who could be his opponent. Yet somehow, someone as impregnable as him hadn't been able to withstand a single blow from Dustin. Unbelievable. Had Fletcher underestimated his opponent, or was it a fluke? Or maybe, it had been Dustin's true strength. It seems that I underestimated you, said Natasha, smirking. Her face wore surprise, delight, and also a hint of pride. She knew Dustin was powerful but never expected it to be to this extent. She hit the jackpot this time. I think I've won. Dustin dusted off his hands and nonchalantly walked off the arena. At this moment, everyone looked at Dustin as though he was a monster. Especially so for Stephen, who gazed mockingly but now looked at Dustin in awe. It was obvious how strong Dustin was if he could subdue Fletcher so effortlessly. Dustin, didn't you say that you barely know martial arts? How are you so powerful? Ruth asked tentatively. It might just be that he's too weak, Dustin answered. Really? But he was the one who defeated Mr. Chapman. Ruth exclaimed. Stephen's face twitched as they touched a sore spot. Sir Hummer, we've already won 3 matches out of 5. What else do you have to say? Demanded Natasha, her focus on other matters. I admit defeat. I have nothing to say. Though Edwin seemed upset, he appeared resigned. Well then, until we meet again. Natasha smiled. With that, she left with a group of people trailing after her. Sir Hummer, are we supposed to let them go like this? His subordinate asked unhappily. As if do you think they can leave so easily after entering my territory? Edwin sneered. I still have a present waiting for them. Sometime later, the sun began setting behind the mountains. Natasha and her convoy were traveling through a fork in the road when a large bus came barreling toward them. The bus driver hit the brake and drifted to a horizontal stop, blocking the entire road. A bunch of assassins covered in black immediately swarmed out from both sides of the woods, quickly encircling the convoy of cars. It's an ambush. Protect Ms. Harmon. The Harmon family bodyguards reacted instantly and formed a ring around Natasha's car to protect her. Kill them. The assassins were fearless as they cut through flesh and knocked down cars. Edwin Hummer is such a despicable man. How dare he ambush us? Ruth was shaken but furious. The corporate world is a battlefield. The moment a fight breaks out, things are bound to get messy. Natasha responded calmly, this not being her first rodeo. Ruth humphed angrily. He better pray that he never falls into my hands, or he'll regret it. The sound of the battle was getting more heated outside the car as numbers from both parties dwindled. Fortunately, despite winning in numbers, the assassins were still no match to the Harmon family's men in terms of skills. Soon, they began losing the bloody battle, and many who hadn't been killed chose to flee. The battle finally ended when the last assassin fell to the ground with a thud. More than half of Natasha's men had been killed, but she and her sister were unharmed. Dustin got out of the car and studied the bodies of the assassins. He realized that each of them had a snake-shaped tattoo on their body. Ruth humphed furiously. Thank God our men are strong, or we'd be dead today thanks to Edwin Hummer. Natasha then ordered her men, do a quick cleanup and let's leave. They were still close to Edwin's territory and she couldn't be sure if he still had anything else up his sleeve, so it was best they leave as soon as possible. As her men cleared the place, Two MPVs with foreign license plates headed toward them and blocked their path. No way. Don't tell me there's more, asked Ruth, annoyed. She watched intently as the car door opened and a dozen men dressed for battle got out of the car. Leading them was a beautiful lady in her 30s. Besides her good looks, she also had a voluptuous figure that flaunted her curves as she walked, an air of authority following her wherever she went. Tilda! Ruth exclaimed excitedly and rushed forward to greet her. Everyone was relieved to see that backup had arrived. What happened? Tilda Snyder frowned when she saw the bodies littering the ground. They're Edwin Hummer's men. They tried to ambush us. Ruth grumbled. He ambushed you. There's no way this is a coincidence. No outsider knows about the route you are taking. So how could he have planted these people here in advance? You're right. How did he know we were going to take this route? Ruth was puzzled. Tilda, do you mean to say there's a mole among our people? Natasha was quick to react. That's right. Tilda's expression was grave. I have reason to believe someone has been selling us out. Tilda, everyone here are people I trust. I doubt any of them would betray me, countered Natasha, shaking her head. People you trust. Tilda studied the crowd before her gaze landed on Dustin. I see some unfamiliar faces, that don't belong to the Harmon family. Oh. He's my friend, explained Natasha. Friend. Humph. Friends are the least trustworthy people. I reckon that he's the spy. Someone get rid of him at once. Tilda commanded. Two subordinates standing behind her immediately pulled out the knives, ready to fight.